Hello and welcome to another fun and exciting point of sale related video. Purpose of this video is to do one last comparison between Microsoft Dynamics RMS, the Retail Management Hero or RMH software, and the Cloud Retailer point of sale software. Basically, Cloud Retailer and RMH are direct replacement programs for RMS, and the end of support for RMS is coming up extremely fast. So I want to give one last comparison. I don't think there are too many changes since I last did this video about 2 years ago, but I thought it'd be worth redoing just by some requests. I'm not going to get super detailed. I just want to hit the highlights so you can get a feel or flavor for the different programs. So I'm going to assume you're already familiar with RMS, so we don't need to run through anything here. So let's hop over to Retail Management Hero, POS screen. Basically, we've covered this before where some of the buttons and shortcuts have just been moved to pull up menus across the bottom. If we're going to do the usual sequence of events where we look up a customer and add them to the transaction, I don't have my barcode scanner hooked up. I keep forgetting to do that. But we can look up an item, take our good old bottle of water, add it to the sale. And this one is open-ended pricing. So we'll create a price. And then we do our normal transaction. F12. I think I'd know that by now. And we're just going to say it's cash that they gave us $2. And just like RMS, we get our usual questions. Obviously, this doesn't have to appear. This is just something I've set in RMH. So very, almost the same as RMS aside from the look and feel. More touchscreen friendly. And of course, the differences in where some of the buttons are. So now let's run a transaction in Cloud Retailer. So go to POS screen, customer. Cloud Retailer is definitely a little easier to look something up because you just need to type in, at least 3 characters if you need to type anything in, of course. Idea is usually if you're tracking customers, you have a loyalty card, or you might be looking them up by their name or address, phone number, all that different stuff. And then again, no barcode, scanner, water, add it to the sale, hit our subtotal. This is optional in Cloud Retailer. It is definitely built into the software and available if you sell age-restricted products. I'm going to override that, and I'm going to pass on the loyalty. And then we get our tender screen. So also very simple and very easy to use on the POS side of things. Screen layout, of course, is different. More buttons or task pads, as they're called in Cloud Retailer. Give you the option to even have multiple layers of products. Not products, sorry. Multiple layers of task pads. Alright. I think that actually kind of covers the POS side of things. So I'm going to close these out so we don't have quite so many programs open on here, which tends to dog down the video. Let's see. Yes, I want to close. If you're moving from RMS to RMH, you definitely see the similarities. Whereas with Cloud Retailer, definitely a look and feel, but more up-to-date technology-wise. Found that when I've deployed both of these systems, so I'm not just making this stuff up. I've been on site. I will say, RMH, RMS to RMH folks are kind of like, yeah, it's about the same. I haven't really gotten anything, but it gives me a newer POS program, and I don't really have to learn too much new. Going from RMS to Cloud Retailer, they notice the the ease of use within Cloud Retailer. It's easier to train on, especially at the cashier level. It's a little more intuitive when you're searching for something. Yes, it is different from RMS, but RMS is going on 18 years old, and so that's a generation. It was time to do an update. All right, back office stuff. As you know, in RMS, we've got our various pull-down menus for doing things. Again, I'm not going to go into detail there because most of you, the audience watching this video, should be familiar with that part of RMS. Within Retail Management Hero, basically a lot of those menus across the top are now across the side for customers, purchasing, things like that. Hit a couple of the highlights. If we look at an item in RMH, and I should have my bottled water. I try to use the bottled water just because that's a real easy one for people to identify with. No matter what you do, we've all probably had a bottle of water. And so this carries through the tabbed options or layout that Microsoft RMS has for the various parts. We've picked up a few things with some of our performance indicators with the products, as well as, actually that's about it. Most of this is about the same. Okay, so let's compare the inventory screen then in Cloud Retailer. Now, first thing you'll notice is now I'm on a browser. So one key difference from RMH and Cloud Retailer is Cloud Retailer, the back end is cloud-based. So anything I'm doing, or you're used to doing in RMS Manager or RMS Administrator, is now done via your browser, which does give you some nice ability to access anywhere. You don't have to be at the store, which is definitely a plus for a lot of people. And I realize there is remote desktop software and things like that for RMS and RMH, but I've had to use it, and I still find it to be somewhat clunky compared to just being able to access it directly through a browser. Okay, so I promised to show a product screen, so let's compare to our bottle of water. There it is. And when we bring that up, basically the different tabs are now laid out in a longer screen. Not all of them are there, but the main ones are there. A little small difference is Cloud Retailer has a subcategory. It does not have an extended description, but does have a place to put notes. And then we've got our tag along and alternate codes, or aliases, as RMS and RMH call them. Discount, I will say when we get down into the product location information, it's a lot easier in Cloud Retailer to make adjustments for pricing and having different things at different store locations. It's just all right here. Easy to do. Checkboxes are fairly similar. Unit of measure. What you do not see in Cloud Retailer is an apparel matrix, style, size, color. That's not available. So if that's your primary purpose, if you're a clothing store, apparel store, then not saying that you can't use Cloud Retailer, but if you're a heavy matrix user, apparel matrix user in RMS, it's going to be tough to do that in Cloud Retailer. Not impossible, but probably not as friendly as you're used to. Okay, that covers that. What's another good one to show in RMS? Probably purchasing. So purchase orders in RMS, again, you're probably all used to this, where we get our pop-up screen. So let's go over to Retail Management Hero. Oops, went too far. And let's go into inventory and purchasing. And it's broken down now into two parts. So purchase orders, this is basically like the first screen in RMS. And we'll pick everything. And it's going to create us some samples. And of course we have our purchase orders which I think if I take a look at one here, you're going to see it's very similar to what you see in RMS. I mean, there's a few column differences, pars and things like that, colors, but predominantly it's very similar to RMS. So let's hop over to Cloud Retailer and do our purchase orders in Cloud Retailer. It's kind of like RMS. You can do one manually. The same, in RMH you can do one manually as well. But most folks start with the supplier purchase planning, and basically what that is that is going to create purchase orders based on criteria that you set, like the supplier's location, and then if you're doing it on reorder points or historical sales data. So again, very similar to RMH. And then, of course, we have the actual purchase orders. Let me close a couple of these tabs, make it a little easier to see. If you go through with the whole supplier purchase planning, then it will actually create a purchase orders for you. But let's just take a look at one of the purchase orders. And you will see, because it's online, the look and feel is different from RMS and RMH. It's a little more streamlined, and it has some cool stuff, like being able to email. That's a pretty common request. And of course the exporting. So that's pretty straightforward. And you can add the products. Obviously we can also scan or type in as we go through and add them. Okay, yep, I know I'm rolling fast, but I hate it when videos get super long and super wordy, because you're here just to see stuff, not to hear me talk. Alright, let's go last two. So let's reports. You're familiar with how reports are done in RMS. Let's look at them in RMH. And we go down to reports. And let's just pick a customer. Let's do sales. And let's see here, not equal to, we still do our criteria. Let's see if this demo has any, there we go, okay. So we've got the report. A little different here. RMS, a lot of the reports you get that little magnifying glass where you can drill down. That's not always available in the reports within RMH. So do keep that in mind. That has come up a lot with folks who really use that hourglass to drill down and to get more details. Other than that, this is a fairly typical look and feel of the reporting in RMH. So let's close that and we'll hop over to Cloud Retailer and let's go into reports and let's do customer. What's a good one? Customer list of sales. So the Cloud Retailer reports are definitely more on the fly adjustable than RMS or RMH. What I mean by that is we can axe columns that we don't want to see, and we can add columns that we want to see. So that part is nice in that aspect. And then other than that, we have our criteria or filtering, very similar to RMS with our Math 101 formula. And then of course the usual stuff for sending the report to Excel, PDF, printing, memorizing the report, things like that. Alright, one last thing that folks should be aware of. I don't have administrator open in RMS, but the EDC stuff. So credit card processing. As you know, you can't use EDC, electronic draft capture, in RMS anymore. So you needed a third-party plugin like Card Defender or from Retail Realm, Mercury Pay, all that stuff. In Retail Management Hero, and by the way, this is the newest release of RMH 3.8. So I have to remember where the the settings are for for payment processing. All right. And the folks at RMH, RMHPOS.com, they have a great like a matrix you can go through to see what your options are for merchant services or credit card processing, because there are a lot more integrations built into the software. Like we can see here, Cayenne, Vantiv, WorldPay, Heartland, BankTech. You can see the list here. I don't have to read them off to you, but there's quite a few. So basically, you are setting that up. You do need to double check ahead of time what's supported and what payment terminals are supported in RMH with the various processors or merchant services companies, because it's not universal. So be sure to check that ahead of time, again at rmhpos.com, and you'll see some options for sorting through it or talk to your RMH partner. Alright, so I think that covers that. Cloud Retailer, basically your payment processing is going to be done using the equivalent of Card Defender. So if you're using Card Defender for RMS, then you're already set with Cloud Retailer. But basically that is going to be your option. Most common places to use with Card Defender are TSYS, First Data, Heartland, Beyond, Gravity Payments. There's quite a few. Ones I know for sure that do not work is the whole Vantiv Global WorldPay setup. Anyway. Alright, I believe that gives you the highlights. Again, I know that just flying through this stuff, but I wanted to hit just again the highlights. As you can see, not much has changed in the various versions of RMH. Over the last couple of years, they've been focused mainly on fixing bugs, process improvements, getting RMH Central out, stuff like that. So, hope you find this helpful. If you need to reach out, the contact information will be in the video description. Thanks for watching.